Hey everybody, my name is Whip and welcome on back to Minecraft. Today we're talking about a concept that a bunch of people ask me about all the time. How do you not get bored in Minecraft, and how do you avoid that Minecraft burnout that comes to everybody ever so often? As I've had this survival world for about 2.5 years now, I think I got a few tips I can share on that matter here. So let's jump into it. My first and number one tip for all of you is to have multiple projects inside of your Minecraft world. You don't have to have like totally crazy different ones all over the place, but try and have a little bit of variety. Maybe you have a redstone thing you're working on. Maybe you have a terraforming project you're working on. Maybe a city, maybe a castle. Have a few different things in the list of things that you can call on. If you get bored of one, take that chance to move over to another one. Don't force yourself to work on one and just bash your head against a wall until you absolutely hate it, because then you're going to quit. Next one I have is definitely going to be take the time to reward yourself for completing a part of the project. There's a lot of things you can do inside of Minecraft. There's a lot of moving parts to it, a lot of things to build. You can never really say a project is fully finished, but celebrate what you have done so far. Celebrate, like if you're building a castle. Hey, I finished the gatehouse. Hey, maybe I finished the wizard tower. Hey, maybe I finished the whole keep of it. The castle stables are done. Celebrate those. Take some time to go back and look at your old builds and just enjoy what you're able to complete, and focus on that you did something, not focusing on how much is left to do, because if you focus on how much is left to do, you'll get kind of negative and down on yourself, instead of focusing on, hey, we've done 30% of it, instead of, oh man, there's 70% left to do. The next one, feeding off of number three, is going to split your large projects up into different parts. Instead of being like, oh man, we have an entire castle here to build in front of us with a whole village in front of it. We've got a bunch of housing down here and all of that stuff. Where I first focused on the castle, and even within the castle itself, you can divide that up into the gatehouse, the stables, the towers, maybe a small church area. You got the feast hall, you have the keep, you have the walls themselves, and you have the terraforming around the outside, maybe a bridge to get into the front. Those can all be different sections of it, so focus on those smaller parts at once instead of focusing on the entire castle of, oh, I have a castle to build today. Focus instead on, I'm going to work on the bridge today. My next tip is to focus on the why. Not the what are we going to build, what would be cool to build here, but why does it exist here? For example, this quarry that we're looking at here, I needed a place where I could mine stone endlessly inside of the world. So you can see the beacon beam coming up, and there's a giant mining area down below, which we can go check out. But the why here is I wanted to add the large quarry into this area because I needed to have some way to supply this giant city that I'm working on way over here in the distance, where you can see the walls, with stone. So where's that stone going to come from? Where's all the logs going to come from for building all the houses? Like you can see these walls are completely made out of stone. Where does that stuff come from? So answering that why of like what's going on here, why does this exist, how did it get here, is I built a quarry over there inside of the giant custom mountains that I'm building. So you can tie all of your projects in here together just by answering that simple why, where, what, who, how, when, all of those good questions that we used to have to deal with in third and fourth grade writing classes, but they're pretty applicable here too. So maybe the teachers were smart on something. Another one here, focusing on the why, is after you have figured out your why or your questions that you want to answer, you got to figure out what you're going to do to answer those questions. For this one right here, we had this big open plains area, and I wanted to have our wizard castle right here behind us, having some source of wine and ale and all those things, because I feel like they're kind of more on the posh side. They like to celebrate a bit more, and they like to have their fancy drinks. They're not okay with just water. So the why of this vineyard existing here is to supply the mage castle and all of the wizards over there. So we answered that why of like, where are we getting this stuff from? And we added a vineyard, and that is all connected into one. And if you keep thinking about those things, keep thinking what you can add to meet a need or meet a goal of one of your current existing builds that it might have, of explaining why something happens. Maybe you're building a super futuristic world and you have this big power reactor powered by slime blocks or green things. I don't know what YouTuber or somebody like that would be using green things, but where do those come from? Maybe you need a mine of some sorts of where that stuff comes from to power your reactor. My next one here, moving off from that point, I promise we're not just going to fly around that area in circles, is build close-ish together. This is a big one for me because it gives me personally the ability to walk around inside of my world and explore things. I don't have to go into the Nether every single time I want to go check out my castle versus being in my desert city. I don't have to go travel 4,000 blocks inside of the Nether. I can just walk along this little pathway right here that we've created, and eventually we're going to see our desert city popping up here in the distance. Yeah, it's Minecraft, so like the biomes just kind of meet each other up in the end, and you don't have that great transition period of moving from the desert to like a more of a drier plains biome into the forest and then over to the castle. But it's Minecraft, just leave that as is and let's just deal with it as we go. But building close-ish together allows you to more easily create a story of why things are interacting together and where things are coming together. And then it also gives you the ability of our next point is to add details to things along the way. Give yourself the ability to just hide things inside of the world that not many people are going to see, but if you're traveling along the pathway, they might pop up a little bit as you're exploring throughout. For example, we got a bit of a shrine hidden back here. When Coral was released, we added a little dead coral shrine back here of maybe some ancient god or goddess that used to be worshipped by the old people that lived in this region. And on the other side of the mountain over here, there's another thing that you could explore. From the roadside, you don't really see it, but there's a small coal mine right here on the side of the mountain. Another great part about these small details that you can work on and small things that you might be wanting to add into your world is it's a small, manageable project that you can complete at once. You don't always need these big, giant, amazing projects that are going on in your world everywhere, where there's just so many different parts to finish up. There's a million and one things to do. You always have more to do. It's hard to say like, wow, this is finished, or wow, this is at a point where I'm happy to say it's completed for now, because there's always more things to do. So picking up smaller projects of just tiny things that you can finish in a day. Pick something you can finish in a day, dot it along the road from city A to city B, and you'll feel a lot more accomplished, like you're finishing things inside your world that still matter and still are applicable to everything else going on around you. This one here is a pretty big question that I get very, very often. And it's, Whip, I hate grinding, I hate gathering the resources, but I also get bored when I play creative mode. How do I bring myself to gather all of these blocks in survival mode without getting bored? Well, the answer to that is turn your grind into the ability to create a future project out of the grind. For example, this giant cave that we're digging out here for all of my blast mining of everything that we're gathering up to build things all over this world is eventually going to be turned into an underground dwarven base or some sort of an underground goblin cave of sorts. So we'd have to clear this stuff out eventually when we're doing that project. So why not do it at the same time? Because we're not going to just fill the entire thing back in, and starting with a giant open canvas like that for the future project could be a pretty easy way to get a lot of that grind work done and get a good jump start on that one too. So if you're planning to clear out a forest in the future to build a city or a village in the middle of the forest, maybe chop those trees down first. Maybe you're wanting to do a big mining project and things like that of an underground dwarven base. Start a strip mine while you're building a village above the ground, and you can just clear all that area out in the end. There comes a time in many a Minecraft world where you're like, I've done everything I've wanted to do. I have every single resource I could ever need in front of me and access to them at all given times. And I don't know what to do. So I'm just going to quit this world, start a new one, and start fresh with nothing at all. So I'm going to just start wandering off. I'm going to delete this world and start a new one and lose all of my progress. But that's okay because I don't know what to do moving forwards. How about instead of that, because that puts you in a pretty rough cycle of wanting to do that over and over again and removes that ability to go and walk through your old builds. Because that's probably one of my favorite parts about this game, is being able to, when I'm bored or when I don't know what to do, walk through what I've done previously, and instantly the ideas start flowing. So what if instead of just getting rid of the world and starting a new one and all fresh and everything, you can respawn the Enderdragon, you can respawn the Wither, you can respawn every single type of boss and mob and everything in the game. There is only one dragon egg, but everything else you can get multiple of pretty much, unless somebody can correct me on that. So why not, instead of just restarting flat out, how about we just start wandering off into a direction, take some food with us. Whenever you run out of your food, that is your next home. That is where you start building again. And then you basically have a new world. You don't have any of your old stuff. You're in a brand new infinite spot inside of your Minecraft world. So why not stay there and build? What What need do you have to go to a new world? What's the difference in that? Somebody prove me wrong in the comments below, but as far as I know, there's nothing really different about staying in the same world and just moving a few thousand blocks away than starting one from scratch, besides the fact that eventually you can walk back and see the really cool stuff you used to make. The next and final tip that I want to be leaving you all with after today's episode, which thank you all so much for watching. Please sure to hit that like button if you have not already. But anyways, the next tip for you all here is to follow the journey of other creators. A big way I find a lot of people getting inspired to continue playing inside of their own world, myself included in this, is watching other YouTubers or other creators or other friends' journeys of them going through and playing Minecraft themselves. Because I might be watching somebody and be like, wow, that is a really, really cool build. How can I take an idea from that, incorporate it into my own world and into my own style? And with that, I would love to give a small shout out to a few of the smaller YouTubers that I personally follow that I think are a little bit undiscovered and deserve to have a few more subscribers. So everybody who's watching this video and has made it to this point, please be sure to go check out these next 4 people. They are all amazing creators, amazing builders, and I think you all can learn quite a lot from them. The first one we got coming up is Pixel Brew. Second one is going to be Drathmorg. Then we got Vigo Man Plays and Germsy Boy. They all have their very own unique styles of creating things and doing all that kind of stuff. Drath himself, though, he is a Twitch streamer primarily. But anyways, I will be leaving links to all 4 of their channels down below, so you can be sure to check them out for yourselves. I do hope you all enjoyed today's episode, though. Let me know what was your favorite part. Any other tips you all have to share with each other, please be sure to go down into the comments below. Take a look at everybody else's comments. Add your own down there of tips you use to stay inspired and all that good stuff. Let's get a little discussion going on down there. How about that? Anyways, please hit that subscribe button if you're new, and I will catch you on the flip side.